Hey everyone, there's a revolution happening in AI right now, and it's happening so quietly you might have missed it. It's all about something called the context window, which is really just the AI's short-term memory. And that memory? Well, it's not short-term anymore. It's just exploded, going from being able to read a few pages to, well, basically consuming entire libraries in one go.
I mean, we're now looking at models with 10 million token context windows. So what does that actually mean? It means you can upload a gigantic, messy code base and just ask the AI, hey, find the bug. Or you could feed it a patient's entire medical history, decades of records, to help figure out a diagnosis. The possibilities here are just staggering.
So that's the big question, right? When your chat with an AI is literally longer than the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy combined, how does it possibly keep track of what you said on page 1? It's not magic, I can tell you that.
In fact, the answer to that question peels back the curtain on the single greatest bottleneck in artificial intelligence right now. It's a problem so big, it has forced a complete rethinking of how we build the data centers that are supposed to power our AI future.
So let's talk about this promise of infinite context and the very real, very physical barrier that's standing in its way. And it all starts with something called the KV cache.
So what is a KV cache? The easiest way to think about it is as the AI's working memory. It's a scratchpad. Every time the model generates a new word, instead of going back and rereading the entire book you gave it, it just glances at this scratchpad to remember the context. This little trick is absolutely essential for making these models work efficiently. But that efficiency comes at a massive cost. And this chart right here really drives home just how huge that cost is. A top-of-the-line NVIDIA H100 GPU, the workhorse of the entire AI industry, it has about 80 gigabytes of super-fast memory. But the KV cache, that little scratchpad for just one conversation with a 1 million token context, that takes over 400 gigabytes. The AI's working memory is 5 times larger than the physical memory of the chip that's doing the thinking.
This mismatch, this is what engineers call the memory wall. We've hit a point where the problem isn't about raw processing power anymore. It's not about how fast you can do the math. The bottleneck has completely shifted. The real challenge now is memory, how much you have and how fast you can possibly access it.
And this whole memory problem gets even weirder because of the split personality the AI has when it's working. First, you've got the pre-fill phase. This is when the AI gobbles up your whole prompt, the entire book, the whole code base, all at once. It's intense, it's parallel, it totally maxes out the GPU's computing power. But then, to generate just one new word in the decode phase, everything flips. It has to read that entire 400 gigabyte KV cache. All of a sudden, the speed isn't limited by calculation anymore, it's completely choked by how fast it can read from memory.
So if a single GPU can't hold the AI's brain, the only solution is to share the load across many of them. But how do you actually do that efficiently? Well, the answer starts with some incredibly clever algorithms.
One of the most elegant solutions is called ring attention. Think of it like this. You and your friends need to read a huge book, but nobody can hold more than one chapter at a time. So what do? You arrange yourselves in a circle. You read your chapter, then you pass it to your neighbor, while getting a new one from the other side. That is exactly what ring attention does with GPUs. It splits the massive context into chunks and just passes them around a ring.
And here is the genius part. A GPU doesn't just sit there waiting for the next chapter. While it's passing its current chunk of data to its neighbor, it's already performing calculations on the new chunk it just received. If you time it just right, the time it takes to pass the note is completely hidden by the time it takes to do the math. The communication becomes basically free, making the whole process incredibly fast.
Now, ring attention is just one approach. There are others, like token ring, which is kind of like passing notes in both directions at once to speed things up. And then you have something totally different, like deep speed Ulysses. Instead of giving each GPU a piece of the story, it gives each GPU a different job to do. It actually splits up the AI's attention mechanism itself. The point is, there's no single best way. The right algorithm depends entirely on the hardware you're running on.
This brings us to the next layer of the solution, the algorithms. This is all about choreographing a smarter dance between all the different GPUs.
So we have these clever algorithms that let the GPUs dance together. But how do we manage the data they're all dancing with? You see, the old way was simple. Each GPU had its own little island of memory, totally isolated. If one GPU ran out of space, the whole thing would just crash. The new way is to build bridges between those islands. We use specialized software, called middleware, to create a single, unified ocean of memory that every single GPU in the data center can dip into.
And a few key players have emerged as the heroes in this story.
You've got LM cache, which acts like a master librarian for this whole ocean of memory. Then there's NVIDIA's Dynamo, which uses a smart router to intelligently send your request to the GPU that's already got the data it needs. And dist KV LMM is even more flexible. It lets a GPU that's running out of room just borrow some from its neighbor on the fly.
One of the key tricks that all these systems use is called prefix caching. Just imagine a customer service bot that has to read the company's entire 1,000-page policy manual for every single question. That's incredibly wasteful, right? Well, with prefix caching, the system processes that manual just once, saves the resulting KV cache, and then every user query can just load that pre-computed prefix. It speeds things up enormously.
Okay, so on top of the algorithms, we have middleware. These are the unsung heroes, the memory librarians that keep everything organized.
So we have algorithms to distribute the work and middleware to manage the memory. But what about the physical hardware? How do you actually connect all this memory together? The answer is a new hardware standard called CXL, or Compute Express Link. The best way to think about it is like plugging a giant external hard drive directly into your computer's brain, not for storage, but as an actual extension of its working memory. CXL lets you build these huge, shareable pools of memory totally separate from any single GPU.
Now, for pure capacity, this is amazing. You can have terabytes of memory on tap. But there's always a catch, isn't there? The connection to this external memory pool, while fast, is nowhere near as fast as the memory that's physically baked onto the GPU chip. Trying to pull hundreds of gigabytes back and forth for every single word the AI generates would be painfully slow. So you solve the capacity problem, but you create a brand new bandwidth problem. And this leads to a really radical shift in thinking. If it's too slow to move all that data to the computer, why not just move a little bit of the computer to the data? This is the absolute genius behind near data processing. Instead of the GPU pulling that entire massive KV cache from the memory pool, it sends a tiny query to the memory pool. The memory itself has small processors on it that do a calculation and send back only the tiny result. This cuts down the data being moved by thousands of times. And all of this sits on the foundation of the hardware itself. To make any of this work, we are fundamentally rewiring the data center. So you see, there's no single silver bullet for breaking the memory wall. It's a full stack problem. Let's put it all together. At the hardware foundation, you've got CXL creating these massive physical memory pools. Then, the middleware layer acts as the librarian for that pool, and directing all the traffic are these clever algorithms that let the GPUs collaborate. Each layer builds on the one below it, all to solve this one huge problem.
And this brings us to the real takeaway. The entire paradigm of AI infrastructure is shifting. It's moving away from being all about compute power. As one report puts it, the future of LLM serving lies in a disaggregated memory-centric architecture. For the foreseeable future, the game isn't about processing power. It's about memory. The race isn't about who has the fastest processors, but who can build the most efficient AI brain by cleverly wiring up its memory.
Which leaves us with one final fascinating question to think about. We are building systems where an AI's working memory is no longer stuck on a single chip, but is a fluid, shared consciousness that spans an entire data center. So when an AI can truly hold a world's worth of knowledge in its active memory, what can it really do? What new frontiers is that going to unlock? Well, that's what we're all about to find out. Thanks for watching.